Hello and welcome back to the Essex Allotment Farm. It's veg box delivery day. So I'm super busy, but I want to carry on vlogging. I want to get better at documenting what it is that I'm trying to achieve. So let's jump straight in it. I'm prepping some onions, little baby onions that I pulled up yesterday to go in the veg boxes. I'm going to try and answer some of your questions that have been in the comments over the last couple of days and sort of show you what it is that I'm trying to do and trying to achieve. So let's get cracking. So that's how I dress and prepare my little baby onions. Now these are only small. These are in a bed that got a little bit waterlogged, so they're not the greatest. They're certainly not the biggest, but they smell and taste absolutely fantastic. They're still super fresh. They've only been drying for about 4 days, and a little bunch like that will go in a veg box. Maybe I might do a couple more if they're a large veg box. And yeah, my customers really love them. So yeah, it's a good product. Whilst I'm in the unit just dressing onions, I thought I might answer one of the questions that I got asked a couple of times in the comments. It's about keeping vegetables fresh. So I'm going to do this while I'm working. That's why I keep looking down and I'm still dressing onions. But yeah, how do I keep my vegetables fresh once I've picked them? So there's a few tricks that I use. I alluded to it in one of the recent vlogs that I did, and that is that if it's a leafy vegetable or something like spinach, kale, lettuce, that kind of thing, I harvest into cold water. First of all, it sort of aids the first part of the cleaning process, so that's not going to do it any harm whatsoever. But when it's a hot, sunny day, I find that harvesting in the water and cooling the leaves down immediately really helps maintain their freshness and last longer. I have compliments about my lettuce and salad lasting well over a week in the fridge. Some people reporting 2 weeks. You know, comfortably I've seen it last 10 days in the fridge. And so if you can instantly cool down those leaves as you're picking them, and then store them in cold storage, ready to go out in the veg boxes, or when you get the veg boxes, then in your fridge at home. I think that sort of process really works. With other leafy greens, the other thing is, or two things to think about, is how recently they've been watered, and what was the second thing I was going to say? Oh, the time of day that you're picking them. So don't pick them at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's just a recipe for disaster. That's pretty obvious. I tend to try and do my leafy green pickings first thing in the morning, as opposed to during the hottest parts of the day. And I mentioned watering. So when was the last time your leaves or your kale or whatever was watered? Because I find that if it's been recently watered, that it's holding a lot of moisture within the leaf. The plant's, not thirsty, it's healthy, and it aids that picking process, and it aids its life after picking. So what I try to do is water the beds that I'm going to harvest the night before I'm going to harvest them. So for example, let's take, say I'm picking a bed of lettuce on a Thursday morning. I would water that bed, or that half a bed, whatever it is that I'm doing, on Wednesday afternoon / evening, so that overnight the leafy plants pick up all that moisture, and then they're full of moisture when I pick them the following morning. So that's a couple of bits that I try and do to preserve shelf life, if you want to call it that. Curing products, or drying out certain products, is another real good example. So these onions are a great example. Obviously I've picked these fresh. I actually picked these in the rain, so they're about as wet as they're going to get. And then by curing them, what I mean is that I store them. Let me get one. So then I will put them in some racking to dry, upside down like this. Sorry, I had to pause the camera there. I was going to sneeze, or I did sneeze even. So yeah, I'll store them on racking upside down. As a minimum, I'd lay them down like that. If you've got, I've got sort of like chicken wire shelves, so I'll store them through the shelving like that. And I find that just 3 or 4 days for them to dry out, so that they get this dry out sort of skin on the onions, same with the garlic, stuff like that. The roots all dry out, and then I can do what I'm going to do, prep them and put them in the veg boxes, and those onions will last sort of plenty of time. With the small little ones like this, people are going to eat them within a week, I would have thought, but they'll last much longer than that. Again, if you've got cold storage to store them in, then that's great, but I don't. I let them cure like this, let them dry out. I put them in the blue mushroom trays once they're dried and stack them in my unit, which is a cool dark place but not refrigerated. As far as storage at my end, I've got a couple of big industrial fridges, a couple of just domestic fridges in my unit that I've stripped out all the noise inside the fridges and just stack my crates up in it to keep them nice and chilled. I haven't got a walk-in fridge yet, which is on the 3-year plan. But yeah, that serves me nicely. Finally, just on keeping stuff fresh, when I'm out and about delivering, I use boxes like this one behind me, which is the foam boxes, and cool packs. I actually put one of these cool packs in each of the individual veg boxes, and my customers leave them behind at the drop-off and collection points, and then I bring them back the following week and refreeze them and reuse them, along with the mushroom crates that all my customers get their veg in. Keeping plastic down, keeping carbon emissions down is really important to me, but so is the freshness of my product. So yeah, I find that these really help when I'm out and about traveling. As I said, I'm really busy today, so I can't do loads of vlogging, but what I will do is, while we're here, just jump out the unit and show you the seedlings, how they're getting on, the ones that I'm taking over and hopefully planting out in the next 2 days. So after I've delivered the veg boxes this afternoon, these will go out, or these will go to the farm, and I'll try and get them planted out this afternoon and tomorrow. So I got some sweet corn that was sown end of last month, or it's looking pretty leggy, desperately needs to go out and needs some more support. So that'll go out, that'll go out, and that's a priority really. That's the Cavolo Nero 104 seed tray full of Cavolo Nero kale that I've been desperately trying to get out the last couple of days. I haven't succeeded yet. You've got in the back there is the Serbian kale, again, that needs to get out in the next day or so. A couple of trays worth of the lettuce. This is the stuff that isn't looking so good, so I'm going to pick the best out of this, and then I've got a few more trays in the greenhouse to follow those out, and then I'm taking across these tree spinach to get those in the ground to see if we can get anything tree spinachy before the end of the season. I've been told that they go absolutely mad, but I'm just trying them this year really with a view to getting a few more for next year. Yeah, so that's what I'm taking over. It's all looking pretty good. Like I say, the corn looks he's desperate to go out and a bit leggy. The Cavolo Nero looks great. The rest of it looks okay. Not my greatest batch of seedlings, but they'll kick on in this rain and sun that we've been having. Right, that's it for another day on the Essex Allotment Farm. Thanks for joining me. Please follow along my journey. Do put in the comments anything that you want me to answer. When I'm doing something to do with a question, I'll try and answer them. Like today, I was prepping some veg, so I thought I'd answer some of the questions around freshness. I know people keep asking me about my netting setup and the wires that I'm using, which when I'm at the farm again tomorrow, I will answer that question for you. So please do, you know, if there's anything you want to know, and it can be about the business, it can be about me, it can be about the veg box, it can be about veg box growing or vegetable growing. Just let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer them as and when I can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.